who hasn't driven herself in her own vehicle in 20 years to call herself flat broke. People understand that that is not the case. They are very rich people. So she has had some major flubs that have done great damage to her brand.
And Willie, you look at the United Nations press conference. I mean, they had to clean that operation up for a month.
To the extent that was a press conference, and the press was held behind the barricades. And
right. Well, Andrea Mitchell was back there, you know, shouting questions from on top of a box.
You know, Jonathan, if you asked members of the Clinton campaign or her supporters, I remember we asked James Carville a couple months ago when he was sitting here, what's the core message of Hillary Clinton's campaign? And they say it's wage stagnation. It is an economic question. It's income inequality. It's about, you know, bringing the middle class back. She can't get that message out when all the questions and all the stories are about the Clinton Foundation, when they're about her scrubbed email server.
Well, you know, I keep thinking about that focus group that Heilman and Halperin did that you showed, I think it was last week, of Democrats, and they were asked about the server and all sorts of things, and they were all like, but she's still our candidate. So, you know, I think for the Clinton folks, they see that view as something that gives them a little time. And to Nicole's question about her being silent, you know, in our paper today we have a story about her, about Hillary Clinton's launch speech next week or in a couple of weeks. In the story, it also says that she's going to start doing press conferences and taking questions, and I think that's when reporters will have their opportunity to ask those tough questions, and she will have the opportunity to answer those tough questions. And if she doesn't do it in a way that builds back up her credibility, then those poll numbers that you just saw, and I wasn't able to see them when you asked me about them before, Joe, but those are really bad poll numbers. She's upside down, as you said.
Jonathan, why do you think that is? Because I'm stunned. Actually, you know, the honest and trustworthy. We've been talking about that for a while, but the fact that she's upside down on her approval rating is really stunning to me. I guess because we get so used to her being in the 65-68% range.
Well, I think the problem is the stories have been coming one way. It's just been an avalanche of bad stories with silence, pretty much silence, coming from the Clinton camp. After that big speech on the 13th, or hopefully before, she'll start taking questions from the press, and depending again on how she answers those questions will determine whether she can flip those poll numbers back over. Because right now all the public has to go on is everything that's coming from the press, with no response whatsoever from the Clinton campaign, and I should say no credible response.
Okay, developing